On today's episode, the 2021 Tough Mudder calendar has been released.
This is the world's toughest podcast. Welcome to the world's toughest podcast, where we talk about any obstacle course race you'd like, as long as that's world's toughest mudder. Each week we talk to members of the WTM community and share stories of success and failure in the single greatest event in OCR. My name is Will Hicks, and this is the world's toughest podcast.
Welcome back to World's Toughest Podcast. Thank you for listening. You're listening to the number one rated obstacle course racing podcast in the world because of listeners like you. You should leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. I would appreciate it. Very short intro today. I want to get right into our conversation. I talked with Kyle McLaughlin from Tough Mudder again. He's basically my co-host at this point. He is the CEO of Tough Mudder, and he is very invested in the community and the work they are doing. Very happy to have him on the show again. Tough Mudder has released their calendar for 2021. We talked about it last episode. 2020 there's no basically about it. 2020 has been canceled. Due to COVID, there are no Tough Mudders on the schedule for the rest of 2020. So in its place, a lot of virtual events, virtual toughest, virtual world's toughest mudder. There is the Tough Mudder challenges, which are going on right now. You can sign up for, and they have released the 2021 schedule. So I want to read the events to you. You can find these at toughmudder.com. I'm going to read you the venues for the US and the UK real quick. On April 10th is the first Tough Mudder of 2021 in Los Angeles at Tejon Ranch. April 24th, 25th is Atlanta. May 1st and 2nd is Missouri. May 22nd and 23rd is Philly. Michigan is June 12th and 13th. Boston, June 19th and 20th. Twin Cities, July 10th and 11th. Long Island, July 17th and 18th. Indiana, July 31st, August 1st. Chicago, August 14th and 15th. Tri-State, September 11th and 12th. Toronto, September 18th and 19th. Seattle, September 25th and 26th. And then Pittsburgh, late September or early October. Back in California for Los Angeles and Glen Helen, October 23rd and 24th. Then Dallas, November 6th and 7th. 3 venues without dates: Virginia, Colorado, and NorCal. Dates coming soon. So those are the 19 regular Tough Mudder events. There are also 3 toughest and 1 world's toughest mudder. Toughest mudder is a 12-hour overnight race. World's toughest mudder is 24 hours. The toughest mudder venues are the same as they were scheduled for 2020. Los Angeles, Philly, and Chicago. The dates: LA will be April 10th and 11th. Toughest Mudder Philly, May 22nd and 23rd. And Chicago, August 14th and 15th. I mentioned that the first Tough Mudder of the year, April 10th. It's April 10th and 11th at the Tejon Ranch. World's Toughest Mudder, no date, no venue. But Kyle has, they're always cagey about, announcing, like, not giving out too much information. The vibe I get from talking with him, and you'll hear it in a minute, is they want to do it in Dallas. They just don't have it locked down yet, so they can't announce it. I don't know. It's not 100%, but that's kind of the vibe I get. They want to go, but they did a lot of work, did a lot of research, did a lot of planning for Dallas for this year that they're not going to be able to do. So I think they want to do Dallas in 2021. And Dallas regular Tough Mudder is November 6th and 7th. And we always know it's a week or two before the regular event is always a week or two before the world's toughest event that's at that venue. They did it that way in Vegas. They did it that way in Atlanta. And they did it that way in Dallas for 2020. Ended up not happening. Let me talk to you about Toughest Mudder UK dates real quick. There are 7 regular Tough Mudders in the UK, as well as 3 Tough Mudder cities, which Kyle's going to talk about in a minute, and Europe's Toughest Mudder. The venues for the UK: North London Finsbury Park, April 9th and 10th. London West, May 15 and 16. Midlands, June 12 and 13. Scotland, July 3rd and 4th. Manchester, the 16th and 17th of July, Yorkshire, July 31st, August 1st, Southwest, August 21, 22, Northwest, September 4th and 5th, London South, 18th and 19th of September, and then South London Morden Park, October 8th and 9th. South London Morden Park, Manchester, and North London Finsbury Park are the Tough Mudder city events. You'll hear Kyle talk about that in a minute. Very excited about the 2021 season. If you plan it out and you do the work, you could literally go to every Tough Mudder event in the U.S. There are no doubles. There are no two venues on the same date. So the guys that did all 6 toughest mudders or all 5 toughest mudders in a year, that's if you want to do 19, or really 19 plus 3, 22, plus World's Toughest Mudders, 23. You could knock those out. Okay, and if you're doing both days, like if you want to get on that headband, 19 times 2 is 38. You can do 38 events, 39, 40, 41. You could do 42 Tough Mudder events in the U.S. next year if you wanted to. And I'm looking at the UK things. We'll have to do the math, but maybe you could fly over to the UK if there's like a weekend off and knock out a couple more. Anyway, looking forward to 2021. Which Tough Mudder will you be at? Which Tough Mudders will you be at next year? Shoot me an email, willhicks@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at the OCR Report and at World's Toughest Podcast. It's time to talk with Kyle McLaughlin, CEO of Tough Mudder. Let's go to the phones. Kyle McLaughlin, welcome back to the show.
Well, how are you? So we've had a lot of time to talk these last few weeks. Last time I saw you, you were a little chillier than you are today.
Yeah. We've had a lot of time to talk because there hasn't been a whole lot else going on in the world, it seems like.
Well, we're keeping busy over here. I mean, a lot of new things in the works, a lot of exciting announcements to make.
Well, let's talk about those announcements. I saw a schedule for 2021. Tell me about Tough Mudder next year.
I mean, for starters, Will, it's July 23rd, and we've already got a 2021 schedule now almost completely set and fully out, which is 4 months earlier than we've ever done it before.
I don't think I've ever seen anything close to this early, yeah.
Yeah, so patting the team on the back for that one, but the team's been hard at work, since COVID kind of first popped up and saying, we're going to push as hard as we can at 2020, but let's get 2021 on deck as well. Knowing too that we also wanted to be back to full strength of where we had been before joining with the Spartan Group. So we're pretty stoked about next year's calendar. Full season in North America, back to 20 event weekends, and a number of the big markets and places that people know and love for us. A couple of new venues in there as well that we're excited about. So we picked one up from our friends at Spartan. We'll be at Tejon Ranch out in your neck of the woods in the beginning part of 2021. That'll likely be the first event in the season, kicking off in April. And then we moved Glen Helen back into the fall. So, for those that love the hills of Glen Helen and the burner you get going up that course, that'll be back in October. But 3 toughest mudders returning back to LA will be in Tejon, though, Philly and Chicago, knowing that a bunch of people had tickets in hand already for this year, wanted to make sure that they could still do those in the markets that they purchased for. If anybody's going across the pond or your listeners in the UK, Europe's toughest back in Midlands next year as well. But we're doing the last couple little pieces to tie up a few last venue contracts. But as of today, everything is up and launched. The full season in the UK is up and running as well.
So I saw there's 3 toughest mudders next year: LA, Philly, and Chicago. Those are the same, like you said, the same venues as 2020. And then World's Toughest Mudder, probably the same venue as scheduled for 2020.
I've heard some rumblings and rumors in that direction, but we'll make an announcement specifically on Worlds a little bit down the road. So
it's exciting. It's nice to see LA kind of at the front of the calendar again. Traditionally, it's the first or second week of the year, so that's nice. April 10th and 11th. How many of these venues do you think you're going to be at this year? How many Tough Mudders will you be at next year?
Well, I mean, one of the great things about the way that we've set the calendar up next year is that currently, and we're still trying to pin down a final date for Pittsburgh, but assuming we can get Pittsburgh on the weekend we want it, which will be the first weekend of October, there's going to be no double event weekends next year. So this may be the first time in like 7 or 8 years of Tough Mudder history that you could hypothetically go to every single event weekend in North America if you wanted to. So no promises yet, as I'd like to maintain my marriage, but I'd love to get out to about 10 to 15 events between North America and the UK next year.
That's the kind of thing that there's some guys in the community who will probably try to do that. There's no special award, or at least in the past there hasn't been, but there's, it looks like 19 regular Tough Mudders plus the 3 toughest and world's toughest mudder. That's a good calendar. That's a good schedule for a good year coming out of COVID.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about it. And look, we're not done yet either. We're evaluating still another handful of markets. You may see us build the calendar out further into the back end of the year, come December, in early 2022. We're aiming to get to a place where the calendar starts to roll out on a quarterly basis about a year ahead of time. So ideally by the time we get to January 2021, we've already got the calendar out for January through March of 2022, and so on and so forth. So give people a chance to plan ahead, gives us a chance to really maximize where we're going. There's a number of places that we're working on looking to get to. You'll notice that this calendar is a little devoid of Tough Mudder in the South. And part of what we have worked on with our friends at Spartan too is also getting the calendar to a place where we weren't sitting on top of each other all the time. Spartan's got a lot of footprint in Florida and Georgia, and southern parts of the U.S. where Tough Mudder does a lot in the Midwest and the West Coast. And not that we got it perfect, because the complexity of venue deals and truck routing and team and construction assignments makes it impossible to not have any overlap. But we're in a much, much better place for people who live in a certain area and want to do as many Spartans and Tough Mudders as they can, and not having to pick and choose because they're either the same weekend or very close to each other in the calendar.
Tell me about Canada. I see one Tough Mudder scheduled for Toronto in September. What's the status with Tough Mudder Canada? Yeah, so certainly back up and running in Tough Mudder in Canada. Whistler was always a venue that we were kind of on the fence about, for this coming year. And as I've said to several before, like, we love Whistler. We'd love to be back in the Whistler, Vancouver area. It has just gotten insanely expensive, in the past couple of years to operate up there. And construction costs have gone up, material costs, being able to just get everybody up the mountain. So we're working on a kind of overall Canadian expansion plan that we'll hopefully be able to get to another market in 2021 on the west coast of Canada, but aiming to continue to grow TM back to a 3 or 4 event Canadian calendar by 2022. The UK calendar is also dropping today. Let's talk about Tough Mudder UK for a minute. It looks like about 10 to 12 venues for 2021 in the UK.
Yeah, so we're back to the full kind of 7 Tough Mudder weekend regular events that we would have done in 2020, as well as Europe's Toughest in Midlands, and then 3 of the new City Series format, which we were planned to launch this year, and will be fully launched in 2021. So 2 London ones, kind of end capping the beginning and end of the season, and then a chance in Manchester kind of mid-year.
Tell me about the Tough Mudder City. The UK did something, I don't know, something like a Friday night kind of Tough Mudder party for a couple years or a year or two. What's Tough Mudder City?
Yeah, so we had a product in the UK called 5K Urban, for a couple of years, and it was basically a Tough Mudder 5K by itself, run on Friday nights and Saturdays, in areas that you could get to via public transportation. So you could hop on the tube in London, or take public transportation, in Manchester or Bristol, or places we've had in the past, to do a less dirty, but equally as fun kind of party atmosphere Tough Mudder City experience. So, we've rebranded that as a City Series. We're offering a 10K distance there as well, where it had previously just been 5K. As we know that some of our more core audience, want a little bit more of a physical challenge. But it's a place you can go after work. You don't have to worry about driving or commuting too far. You're not going to get super gross and dirty doing it. So no showers, no worries about being able to commute back home with muddy clothes on, but still have the same team building experience, grab a beer afterwards, great live music. And it's a great offering for groups too, where you maybe have a hard time convincing all your buddies to go 2 hours out into the countryside to do an event. They'll definitely come join you after work on a Friday to pound out a 5K and have a few beers afterwards. And we are hoping, if I anticipating your next question, to bring the City Series to the U.S. now, either late 2021 or early 2022.
I'm kind of jealous. I think it's a fun format. You have to have the right city for it with the right, kind of subway or public transportation where everyone's just like, I don't know if it would fly in San Diego because everyone, or even in California, I don't know. But anyway, it's a fun looking. I've never done it, but it looks, every time I see it, I'm a little bit jealous.
Yeah. So that, and look, hint, but we've got a number of other, exciting new event concepts and formats that we'll start to talk about a little bit more in the fall this year. Some things that you'll see rolling out for 2021, some things that'll be a little bit longer in the pipeline. But we have not been resting at all for the past few months. A lot of innovation in progress, a lot of new kind of concepts that we're going to start to roll out. So we're excited about being back in the mud and back to running in 2021. What
about the rest of the world? Europe, Germany, etc. for Tough Mudder 2021?
Yeah, so Germany, we're certainly aiming to be back online next year. Germany was, for listeners who don't know, Germany had a little bit of a kind of legal transactional glitch as we merged all the Tough Mudder businesses into Spartan, and we had to kind of leave the Tough Mudder German business behind and restart it over again. As it turned out, COVID prevented any events from happening there anyway. So the outcome would not have been any different for customers this year. But definitely looking to be aiming back in Germany next year. Australia, obviously still a really strong market for us. They're working on their calendar, but should be 4 or 5 Tough Mudder events back on the calendar in Australia for next year. And then, assuming that the world starts to return to normalcy here in 2021, we've got about 15 other countries that we're active in, and a number of others kind of in development and in conversations right now.
As we're talking, we're 2 or 3 weeks into Tough Mudder challenges. How are those going for the company?
We are blown away, thrilled by where Tough Mudder challenges have been to date. We built this concept, the goal of giving a virtual fitness experience that was kind of true to what Tough Mudder is, and is not just a run around your block and we'll ship you a headband. And I think it's proven to be just that. What we've seen from the community, the kind of engagement, both on the Fit Rankings platform and on the Facebook groups, people are having a blast with it. They're getting together in groups. They're doing a lot of these things together, which is exactly the kind of teamwork atmosphere that we wanted to create. And way more people jumped on board in the first part than I think we ever anticipated. So we've got 4,000 people that were finishing up the July challenge right now. We just rolled out the August challenge, which is a trip to Fiji. So we're pretty excited about that. And there'll be some exciting partner announcements coming on that in the next couple of days. We're committed to the challenges product. We're going to keep building on it. We've done a lot of improvements and enhancements to the technology, even in the first couple of days of it being live. We've never done anything like this before. So definitely some teething and some technical things to work out. But it's really, really great to see how many new people are engaged in that group as well. People who's, you start to, lurk around in the Tough Mudder Facebook groups and you see the same names for years, right? The same people in the community. There are a whole bunch of names in taking on Tough Mudder challenges that I've never seen before. And as you read some of those comments, people who are even saying like, I've always wanted to do a Tough Mudder. I've never done one. I thought I'd try this out. I can't wait to get on course. I can't wait. The power of this community has been so incredible. So that's it, right? That's what we're here for. Getting people motivated, getting them off the couch, getting them to do something together as a team. That's not about a leaderboard and not about being first place. It's the magic.
I've had that exact conversation with some people that, when you're in the Tough Mudder groups, it's the same 20 to 25 people that are there. There's hundreds of people in the groups, but there's some people who are louder and participate more, and you always see them posting. And then you go to the Tough Mudder Challenge group, and it's literally dozens and hundreds of names you've never seen before. It's you don't know if they've always been there and kind of quiet, or if this is or if they're brand new to the community. And they're, like you said, this is kind of a gateway drug.
Yeah, so we'll have a monthly challenge for the rest of the year. We've got some great partnerships kind of in the work, and some cool themes that we'll be rolling out. Opportunities to earn some additional prizing and other things that are coming down the pipeline as well. But we're committed to continuing this into 2021. So we're deep into building out what that experience looks like. And we've got some great ideas too about building challenges into your training and prep for regular Tough Mudder, for a toughest, for worlds. Some really interesting things we're working on.
Another conversation I've had with some people is the timing of COVID. obviously none of us had any control over that, right? But the way it kind of hit, if it had hit 3 months earlier or 3 months later, how different Tough Mudder could be right now, if at all. Do you think that, have you guys talked about that? Like if COVID had hit, earlier, then the merger never would have happened and we'd all be doing something else?
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't like to lose a lot of brain space speculating about things that could have been. But Joe and I have been working on this for a long time and wanted to be able to bring these two brands together. And look, I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg and starting to see some of the magic come out of that. As we know, right, the Tough Mudder community and the Spartan community, are similar in so many ways, but different in so many ways, right? There's so little overlap between the two that we've really got an opportunity to give people more chances and ways to get moving and get fit, and pick the right product, the right brand that fits for them. So, had COVID happened earlier, later, who knows what would have happened? Both brands are still incredibly strong. They bring a lot of value to our audience and our community in different ways.
Is there any talk of crossover between the two brands? Like I saw there was a Tough Mudder. We had an electrical obstacle at one of the Spartan races about a month ago. You guys talk about that at all next year?
Yeah, I mean, part of that, Spartan's been rolling out, talking about how unbreakable they are, and they've been too wimpy to take on electricity for the past 10 years. So we wanted to just see if they're willing to put their money where their mouth is. But we'll see, I think is the short answer. We are very, very committed to keeping the two products relatively distinct. But we're also building a number of other exciting things in the Spartan, kind of larger Spartan group right now. So, as Spartan continues to kind of expand and grow DecaFit, you may see, pieces of that pop up at, TM events going down the road. There's lots of expansion going on with Spartan Trail right now, which is really exciting, and being able to give people, who enjoy the running side of it a little bit more, a chance to do something different and more exotic locations. So we're taking a pretty collaborative approach to making sure that, the Tough Mudder side, the Spartan side, Trail, Deca, all the other pieces down the road, each have their own audience, but have the ability to cater to people who may want to try something a little bit different too. But we'll see what pops up on course next year. We're working on new obstacle development right now, so as we always do, we'll be rolling out obstacle unveil probably by October. But just because COVID hit doesn't mean we're not continuing the same innovation path we always have been.
Kyle, anything else you want to share with the community before we go?
Well, Will, I think one of the big pieces of the announcement coming out of today is a shift to the way that we've priced and the way that we handle things like parking and bag drop in the past. And to the new customer, it may not seem like a big deal, but for many of your listeners, people who've been in the community for a while, this should hopefully be a big cost savings and a big streamline to their on-site experience. When COVID first hit, us, much like every other kind of endurance and mass participation brand, took a step back to say, all right, what parts of our on-site experience may need to change coming after this? And a big piece of it was recognize how much kind of manual cash collection and interactions we had. You showed up for parking, you had to pay for parking. You showed up and check-in, you had to then pay for bag drop. So we've moved to take that completely out of the process. It'll now be a fee that you pay when you do the registration. You'll be able to seamlessly pull in and park. Go through bag drop. There'll be no queues, no lines, no kind of processing to manage those things anymore. And for the average customer who paid $25 to $35 in addition to their ticket for parking and bag drop, in a much better price point at $10 right now.
So $10 combined for parking and bag drop next year.
$10 combined, automatically added onto your ticket. For those, there's a small handful of people who purchased parking or bag drop for a 2020 event in advance, and we're working with those people to get them some credits and other pieces for next year, but should vastly streamline the experience. We'll also be bundling that into the spectator ticket price. So for $15 on a spectator ticket, it'll include parking, and if a spectator needs to check a bag, you'll have that opportunity as well. So making that a much more approachable piece for spectators. Really just kind of covering our costs on spectators, insurance, and other pieces. But we know that that's been a pain point in the past for people who want to bring friends and family.
When can people buy tickets for the 2021 season?
Now, today, go. Don't wait. In fact, part of this is that we're not going to turn on the parking and bag drop fee until August 3rd. So if you buy tickets between now and August 3rd, you'll be automatically grandfathered in. It'll be a $10 savings off the ticket price. And look, as we committed to last year, and we're very much going to keep with, the Tough Mudder days of constant promotion and discount and this price off are over. We've moved to a very transparent pricing system. You'll see on the website when prices are going to go up. And when early bird options run out. Not to say that we won't do the occasional sale for a Black Friday or a Cyber Monday or something, but it's not going to be the always on promotion. So this base kind of entry level here, if you're going to be out on course with us, if you want something to set your sights on and set a goal for next year and train against, commit today. Put a date in the calendar and get after it.
Yeah, I found once I put my money on the table, then that kind of pulls the commitment along with it.
Indeed. Yeah. Particularly for things, like World's Toughest Mudder. I think I want to do Worlds next year, Will. I'm going to say it here for the first time, but I've got, what is that? 14 months, 15 months to train and get ready for it. So
Kyle, that's exciting. A full 24 hours?
I think so.
Outstanding. You can join my team if you want. Although solo's good too. Like my first year I did solo. It's more fun with the team. Anyway, congratulations. That's exciting. It'll be fun to see you out there.
All right. I'm in. Let's do it.
All right.
Are you doing virtual Worlds, Will?
Absolutely. I'm doing virtual toughest and virtual worlds. I'm scouting the flattest 5-mile loop near where I live. And I think I found it. It's a 2.5 mile out and back. And I'm going to have my son be my pit crew. He's just turned 13, so he's very excited about it. And you know what my son did? We did graffiti where you write out TM, or we went to a little beach town that has a lot of grid streets, so it's real easy to spell out the letters. And we spent like 3 hours just walking and talking, and it was great. It was a great activity. I'm looking forward to getting him on a real course someday too.
I remember yours. You too. You had a very detailed Tough Mudder. Yours was one of the most legible ones I've seen so far.
We were like, which side of the street? Like we planned it out pretty well, and it was we're pretty happy with how it turned out.
Nice. Well, we're going to start dropping the shopping list for Virtual Toughest today or tomorrow. So stay tuned for that.
What are some things that'll be on it? One or two things.
You need a pair of scissors. You need a backpack. You might need a watermelon. There's a few things coming your direction.
An actual watermelon. Cantaloupe won't work.
An actual watermelon.
Okay. We'll look forward to that. Kyle McLaughlin, CEO of Tough Mudder. Thanks much.
I was going to talk. Well, thanks.
Thanks, Kyle. Special thanks to Kyle McLaughlin for appearing on today's show. Come back anytime, Kyle. How excited are you about next year? It'll happen. We'll have a vaccine long before then. We'll be out in the mud, and we'll be getting dirty and getting electrocuted and high-fiving and doing burpees. Well, maybe not doing burpees. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Sign up for 2021 today. I will talk with you soon. Go spend time with someone you love.